Okay, g'day everybody, it's Adam Harrison from Twangbo Guitars, and I'm going to welcome you to two YouTube shows. The first show is the Cigar Box Guitar Builder, and the other show is our new show in the shop called the Birdwood Guitars Show. Now, Phill, this is Phill. I'm going to introduce you. This is Phill Ashby from Caloundra. And in Queensland, in the closed off state, the blocked off state, the state where nobody can go.
Which is the way we like it.
That's it. Not Queensland. Weren't you guys a state of mind?
Yeah.
Something like that. I think it has something to do with that anyway. All right. So small background story. I've known Phill on Facebook for 3 or 4 years, it must be.
Yeah.
And I'm originally from Caloundra in Queensland, and of course you guys know I'm down here in beautiful Katoomba in New South Wales in the Blue Mountains. And the funny little story between me and Phill and I have known each other for years. We've kind of chatted back and forwards on the Cigar Box guitar groups and the guitar building groups and things like that. And all the while, when I'd fly up to Queensland, my mum would be saying to me, "Oh, look, I've got a good friend of mine who builds guitars. I should catch up with Phill." And I never with Phill, and I never could catch up with Phill. But the funny thing was, I didn't put two and two together and actually figure out that Phill was actually Phill from Queensland, and your wife and my mum are best mates. Yeah. So, which I don't know about you, but I only put the pieces together about 2 years ago.
Yeah, same as me.
Yeah. It's like, oh, that Phill. Yeah.
Because your mum would say the same thing. "Oh, my son builds guitars, you should chat with him." And I go, "Oh, yeah." And then not saying who you were or where you were.
No.
But in the meantime, we had been chatting and whatever, as you said.
Yep. But your guitars have certainly come in leaps and bounds. So let's go back and do a little bit of a story. So how did you get into building? I suppose cigar box guitars were kind of the...
Yeah, that was my first introduction.
Yep.
What happened was our eldest granddaughter, she gave us one of those wine box casks and things like that, with chocolates and so forth. And I thought, well, for Christmas... And I thought, I'd like to do something to keep it as a memento of what she gave us. And so I got online, and I've always had a thing with music and that. And then I saw these things about cigar box guitars, and I thought, well, this should be really good. And so I started off with that, and actually the dog bowl behind me there is the first guitar that I did build with her box.
The wine box.
And... with the box that she gave us, and then I built the neck and everything, and then got the dog bowl. And yes, that's my first introduction into cigar box guitars, and I've kept that one ever since, and she'll get that when I shuffle off this mortal coil.
Now, is that fretted?
Yes, yeah, it's my first go at fretting the whole lot.
So,
I had a mate who helped me. He was very good at woodwork, and so we built it together.
Yep.
I sort of designed it, and we came around with ways of getting around it to get the dog bowl in there and things like that, because not having ever built anything like that. And just got online and learned how to do the wiring and everything like that, and it's just taken off from there.
So God bless YouTube, hey?
Yeah, oh God, yeah.
But I'm actually really impressed that you actually... No experience at all, but the very first guitar you actually did was one that you actually did the fretting on. And how accurate were the frets?
Yeah, no, actually quite good.
Yeah.
So I just got, because I had an acoustic guitar, similar to what you got in the background there, and I just lined them up on a blank piece of timber and just mashed it all up.
That's it. Well, I just had a young guy come in for one of the local Katoomba high school kids come in. I don't know what time is it now. It's 1:15 here, so he's probably out on his lunch break or he's escaped from school for the day. And he just built himself a cigar box guitar last year. He was actually asking me for frets, and he wanted some ideas about where to get them and all that sort of stuff. So it's interesting that the young crowd are kind of really into it as well as an instrument that's, you know, not necessarily terrifying to have to start with. I think they're kind of fun. Is that how you got into cigar box guitars? Was it that kind of concept of I want to start building six strings eventually, or was this something that
Well, yeah, I mean, I always liked the idea of cigar box guitar because I'm a terrible six-string player, and I thought, well, three strings has got to be twice as easy as six strings.
Yes.
And liking blues music and so forth, and you can just find so many lessons around. And I thought, well, geez, I can play this, and not very good still, but at least I can still play it, and just to give the guitars a good test out. And then same as the six-string. You know, just tuned it up still like a G chord, G chord, you know, six-string guitar setup, and you can still play it like a three-string with your one finger, like as you say, Keith Richards style of G chords, or G tuning.
Now I'm looking at the pickup that's on the box guitar that you've got. No, the other one. move to your right. That's it.
Right,
no, the other way. We're looking at the dog bowl. So what's all right? So that's a mini humbucker in there.
Yeah, that was a mini humbucker. Got everything from Mark.
Yep.
At Cigar Box Emporium.
Yep.
That was where I got all my stuff originally. The dog bowl, that was from him.
Yep.
The Charles Atchison.
Yeah,
Atchison.
I see.
Yeah.
Charles Atchison, yeah.
Yeah, that was his. And then, as I said, the knobs and that I just sort of bought around online and so forth, and just used the, just a very easy way to start off, and then just went from there.
Okay. Now I'm just going to point out, if on the recording you're hearing this and there's a very, very low reverberations happening, there's a truck that's decided to stop outside the shop. And keep it down. I don't know why they leave the engine on all the time, but they leave the engines on. You can hear this. All I can hear is this. And it's not even something you can play along to.
No, that's it.
All right, so we've started with that, but you certainly didn't stop there. What was the next progression from the dog bowl guitar?
The next progression was then solid body, three strings. Making them out of. Then I started getting into, as I got more and more confident building and so forth. Then I went into solid body guitars, sort of making, well, okay, if I wanted to, I thought to myself, well, if somebody who I liked as a guitar player, I said, what would he play as a three-string cigar box guitar? And then I'd sort of make a guitar style to what you'd see them playing, but in a three-string version and as a solid body rectangle. I think the Keith that you've got in the shop, that was I've done that in a three-string and a six-string, and a few other guitarists, the Billy Bow guitar, from Bo Diddley and Billy Gibbons, that sort of shape and things like that. And then I think they were in three strings, but now I'm sort of getting more and more into the six-string side of things, and then just throwing in every now and then a quick three-string in between that I can sort of use and sell as well.
This is what I love about what we do. When we put guitars together, a lot of times we're putting together out of funny old parts and bits of timber that other guitar players other guitar builders would look at and go, I'm not building something with that. Like we're of the other ilk. We're looking at that going, that looks really interesting.
And that's why a bloke that I've built about four or five guitars for. That's why he likes mine, because they're not like the typical stereo that every man and his dog can buy one. Mine look a little bit different. Well, they are a lot different now. Especially the one on the other side, which is just bought off me. I'm just waiting for him. He's sending up he's too scared of it getting wrecked in the post, so he's sending up a soft
case for it.
Soft tail, hard case or something that to pack it in. So,
Yeah, no, that looks gorgeous. I want to get onto that guitar in a second, but I just want to chat about something else first. Now, you are very, very heavily involved with the men's shed in Caloundra.
Yes.
Now, do you want to have a little chat about that and explain to some people what it meant if they don't know, or if they've never been, or if they're, because especially with COVID and everything going on, everyone's kind of shut in at the moment and doing all sorts of stuff. How are you guys dealing with COVID? And also maybe let people know who maybe don't know what men's sheds are. Maybe have a chat about what that is.
Yeah, well, look, the men's shed as a group started back in the 90s. And then now there's something like about 1,800 sheds worldwide in about 10 countries. Australia's got about 1,200 of them, but, but anyway, it is starting to spread. It wasn't an Australian initiative, and it is slowly spreading worldwide, which is great. So our shed's been going for about 4 or 5 years. We were running into problems with where we were. We were only given leasing, which now little permit, 12 monthly permits, which stopped us from getting grant money and so forth. Just recently, council have come to the fore and given us some land, which we still lease off them, but at least we get 10-year leases, and then which means we can apply for grants. And we got a federal government grant of $260,000, which will build the shed. And we've had a couple of big state grants as well just recently, and to buy some new saws and so forth when we get in there. The men's shed is great for just camaraderie, especially on the coast here. A lot of people moving to the coast, and and for any age, but more so it seems to be with the older blokes.
Yep.
Once they're turning over 50, it's too hard to get work, or they move up here not knowing anybody, and in the end their daughters or their wives try to get them involved in the men's shed just to meet people. And it can be and a lot of blokes do join that have had, whether it be mental issues or health issues, because men don't talk about it, they tend to bottle things up. But the one good thing about the men's shed is you'll always find someone who's had the same problem as you, and in the end they start opening up to each other. We've had blokes that have said, 3 or 4 blokes in the shed here have said to us, well, if it wasn't for the men's shed, we wouldn't be here today. Because of men's suicide, especially in older people on the coast. It's probably about, I did a talk the other day to a Rotary Club, and I think men's suicide on the coast ranks about number 3 in causes of deaths, behind your typical stereotype. Issue. So, it's good. Most blokes just like to come along and have a chat. We have a table of knowledge, and we just tell tall tales and tell people how much better we were than what we used to be type thing.
The world's going to rack and ruin.
And the one good thing is, 2 things I say to any blokes who join our shed in particular, that you've got to have a thick skin, and you've got to be able to tell plenty of jokes. So, and it's good. Now that we should be moving into the new shed, hopefully in the new year.
Yep, fantastic. And what new tools have you been able to get for the shed?
Beg your pardon?
What new tools have you been able to get?
We've had bandsaws. We've got a couple of lathes, wooden lathes, metal lathes. The grant money we've just been given, got about $18,000 for a big panel saw with, which will come in handy, especially we've got to build all new cupboards and benches and things like that.
Big boys' toys.
Yeah, big boys' toys. And, eventually get drum sanders for, brand boards and guitar bodies. And, so that's about what, we've got a lot of stuff there now. So, and we'll be able to open up to a lot more members with the new shed, because we'll be about 3 times as big as the shed we're in now. So we've got about 55 members at the moment. And with the new shed, better position and everything, it'll open up to us.
And how are you dealing with COVID at the moment, with numbers in the shed and
Well, it did drop off when we all shut down. We had to be quarantined, locked down. But we've been open up now for probably close to 2 months. We had to follow all the guidelines, which we have, and things like that. Some blokes won't come back because they are worried that
Yeah.
they just won't come back. So we did go through a stage where we dropped from about 70 members down to about 30, and as I said, we're back up to around that 55 with new members plus the members coming back.
Yeah.
So, especially now that we're pretty well back to normal up here in Queensland. We can go travel around and do what we like. So,
Yeah, but we can't. We can't come up there. And oh, look, that'll all change. All right, let's move on because I really want to have a chat with you about that guitar, beautiful guitar behind you. Talk to us about maybe can you use your camera because Phil's doing everything by hand here, guys. So this is as low tech as you can get.
So I'll start off with the body. There we go. So there we go. Is that a bit better?
Yep. Now, the break in the timber there, now, was that a natural thing or have you just gone to town on it?
No. What I did was I tracked down, it's a beautiful timber shop up at Melania. I've been using his for these live edge.
Yep.
So it's all live edge timber, just one piece of timber, and then I cut it to the length of my body, and then sort of turn them around so they face each other like it is. So it's like a ravine.
Oh, I see.
Style. Yeah. And then I put the rods in it. That was the first time I've ever done that. So luckily it all came out together in the one hit and they all lined up. So it was just a bit of trial and error there.
Yep.
The actual timber, believe it or not, is quarter sawn camphor laurel.
Oh, gosh.
And then I've stained it with some ebony stain to give it a real dark, old look, and then put about 4 coats of gloss on there, and then you've got all the gold hardware.
Yeah.
Most of the pickups I buy now, I'm starting to get into Tone Rider pickups a bit.
Yes.
Yeah, I found them. The neck pickups are Generation X,
Yep.
and the bridge pickup is a Bill Lawrence design Fender Atomic Humbucker.
Oh, okay. All right.
It
Well,
puts out about 16 in the neck, in the bridge, and about 9 or 10, up in the neck position.
Up in the neck position, yeah.
Pretty loud guitar. And then I just used some, Gibson style wiring for your volume and tone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And with split coil tone pots.
Oh, wow, fantastic. And have you been doing the wiring for that, or you've been getting harnesses in?
That one I bought the hard because I did do the wiring, put it all together, and then I thought, if this doesn't last and it plays up,
yeah.
So I went and got it done professionally.
Nice, mate. Nice. That's great. It's a fixed
Especially
bridge.
Especially in that style of guitar where people are, they do expect.
Yep.
If you're paying the money for it, you do expect to get, a bit better workmanship than I can do with the soldering.
Well, I've got to say, mate, because we've been ordering guitars off you now. We've got quite a few guitars off you now, and I've really noticed, like, from the first instruments that we were getting, like, through to now, like, your skills have definitely, like, gone up and up and up. You can put yourself back on the camera now.
Oh, thank God for that. It's killing me arms.
No, put it away. Move to your right, because hang on, hold on. You stay there, hang on.
Yeah.
Look at this. How good's that? I can move the picture. There you are. I should have done that before. Sorry, everybody who's been watching, because you've been wearing me as a hat. So, not something you want to say in public, is it?
Your hat. Yeah.
So now the name of your company is Twangbo Guitars.
Twangbo
Guitars, and you've been having some fantastic success. It's been wonderful to see.
Yeah, it's been really good. I try to build at a reasonable price, and with the pickups I use, either say with Tone Rider, or I've been able to scroll around on the internet and find, whether they be Seymour Duncan or Fender or Damasio pickups, and just use them. So make them affordable for the average Joe Blow, hopefully.
And they're lots and lots of fun. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to, bear with me, Phil, I'm just going to take the camera because I've actually got a few of your guitars here in the shop. So I'm just going to go and show some people some of the guitars in the shop. And this is just a really, really good indication of what you can actually do, you know, with interesting materials, like interesting timbers and things that you never would have thought, oh, can I make something with that? So I'm going to move you around. Hang on, bear with me, Phil. I'm going to be rude and move over here. I'm just going to have a little wander through the shop. There we go. So here we've got a range of Phil's guitars, which is really great because I've got it against the glass outside. There we go. So we can actually see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of Phil's guitars, and it just gives you a really good idea of what Phil's up to. He's doing some really, really great guitars. They're lots of fun. They're great to play. They're really fun to play, and really beautiful timbers. But they're all done in this really rustic kind of freehand style, which is really gorgeous. It's you know, no templates, right, Phil?
No templates, that's exactly right.
That's it. So.
Just do a rough drawing on the timber.
Yep.
And just cut it out and change it.
Doing a move around at the moment, so I've just moved a couple of things here, and here we go. And these are Phil's box guitars, which we've sold rather well. Keefy's going off. So this is Keith, and very good. All right, here we go. I'll move back into assuming the position back in front. I hope I can get you back in there now. Hang on a second. Let's get you there. This is all very high tech, isn't it? It's all really, really high tech stuff. There we go. Look at that. Oh, look at that. You got a halo above your head. Liar.
That should be around me neck.
Yeah. All right. So this has been Phil from Twangbo Guitars. And anything else you want to say, Phil?
No, just speaking of timbers, the latest one, just to show people the sort of really strange timber I have been using, is this one behind me here on the table.
Gosh.
You got that?
I can just see it. Hang on. Go to your right.
That way?
That way. That's it. And pull back a bit. Pull back a bit. Back further. Come back further. There you go.
Yeah, that's a spalted Tasmanian blackwood cap with African mahogany body.
Oh, wow.
So, so that's what I mean. I just look around and I just like to use different timbers.
Yeah. Absolutely. Phil, thank you so much. I really, really have appreciated having you on the shows. So just to let you guys know, we've got this program is out on 2 YouTube channels. We're going to be putting it out on the Birdwood Guitars show, which we've just started. And that's a show where we're interviewing people like Phil who have something to do with the shop, who've added to the character of the store, and you know, they're just great friends of the shop. Also local musicians and other artists who again have been connected with the store. So we're just trying to raise their profile, get people to know who they are. On another note, it's wonderful if you are in Australia or you're in a country, you might be in the States or Europe or wherever you might be watching this. See if you've got access to something like a men's shed. If you are lonely, if you are new to an area, or you just want to talk to some people, get out there and have a chat to friends. See if you can find a group like this, because it's wonderful to be able to. And also, don't forget people in your community as well, as in this guitar building community. We're very vocal people. We're generally not quiet people. We're quite happy to have a chat. So, you know,
and we're happy to help each other.
Yeah, you know, COVID's made life difficult and made things, you know, interesting for pretty much everybody. We're all affected by it. We're all affected by it. So, you know, if you need to have a chat with someone, have a chat with someone. So, public service announcement done. The other show is the Cigar Box Guitar Builder. Now, Phil kind of fits neatly, kind of like myself, into the camp where we're also cigar box guitar builders, but we're also 6-string electric guitar builders. So, and it just goes to show that it's interchangeable, you know. So, get out there and try something different. If you build electric guitars or acoustics and you've never built a cigar box guitar, see how much fun you can have actually building a cigar box guitar. And alternatively, if you build cigar box guitars but you want to try and just kind of break out of the mold a little bit, build a 6-string, build an 8-string, build a 12-string, or a 6-course, or build just. What's going to happen? What's the worst thing that'll happen if something breaks? Who cares? It doesn't really matter. You've just gone and tried something.
And you can change the design as you go along.
That's it.
You might start off with one certain design, and as you say, you might bugger that up and something might not go quite right. Oh, okay, I'll just change the shape a little bit.
That's it.
That's it.
Let's have 2 necks. So you can do anything you want. All right. So thanks again. Thank you, Phill. Guys, if you're looking at the YouTube, whichever YouTube channel you're on, go and check out the other one. And also, if you're liking what you're seeing, if you're enjoying the shows, please click subscribe. Click that little bell to see if you're getting notifications. We're here to, and if you've got any questions at all, there's some websites attached, and websites are attached. Also, we've also got email addresses there, so if you need to contact me regarding anything regarding the show or regarding anything at all, don't hesitate to get in contact with us. We sell Phil's guitars here at Birdwood Guitars, so you can always check out Phil's Guitars at birdwoodguitars.com. Also now on Birdwood Cigar Box Guitars.com.au, which is a new website we've opened up, which has actually got Afterpay. So I'm actually going to be putting Phil's Guitars on there as well, so they'll be there as well. So you can use Afterpay. It's coming up to Christmas, so if you're looking to buy yourself something or a loved one something, please do that. That's basically it.
Yep, I just want to say that it's great doing things like this, and also just for the interviews you have done, there's obviously some great musicians and either guitar makers, amp makers that I've seen on some of your shows, and so great lot of talent in the Blue Mountains there. So,
for sure.
It's great.
Get out there and have some fun, guys. All right, again, thanks, Phill. It's been Phill from Twangbo Guitars.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. All the best. Signing off.